I'm just going to read a little bit more. It's also true that I can't write dialogue, but I always secretly wanted to be a fiction writer. And so sometimes in my poems I try and write little stories. And this is probably one of the closest poems I have to being a piece of fiction. And it was inspired by a funny name I saw. And the name is real. It's called Virgil Moon. I'm willing to bet that greasy 20 stuck to the bottom of your empty file cabinet. It's never me you think of when you try to shoot yourself onto the ceilings of your apartment. Your thoughts lie somewhere in the sink you call your Amazon basin, soapy home to blue Julies and banded Lisas and frozen Charlottes, their spiny tongues making short work of crumpled toothpaste tubes and tiny spoons, and the questionable ghost of your mother's lover who kicked your dog across state lines, showing little more remorse than a teenage shoplifter. Last night I dreamt you took out the trash, flipped beautiful lean burgers on an outdoor grill. I can see you talking to the plumber, convincing him to lose himself down the slimmest of pipes in search of what we've discarded and still cannot move past. Without you, I dream of blood in my stomach, my breath shrinking when jewelry salesmen beckon enormous topazes in my direction, and I'm always tempted to move towards that city which has yet to discover neon. It is my turn to bask in the limelight, my turn to Basco, the lime's light and this glass so heavy. Pretending we have been pensive, all bets are often decided by the sea star, stomach flowing out its mouth, straight to that point that food, nothing gets wasted, save a few starfish, one backed against the wall, 2 feet straining to make sense of a truck that refuses to shift into reverse and is still going nowhere fast, a bad phrase, a neck in the creek, a tiny piece of skin determined not to let you love it or ever be able to give it up. Watch out for this supermouth, skull cap or bald. You don't have to adjust your ill-fitting pants to know everyone's looking down, and there's everything you could do about it and won't. The gum I pull from well-tractioned heels clings like a cinnamon-scented animal who knows what it doesn't know yet is worse than being stepped on. I'm sorry for still thinking of you, for wanting to clip your nails with left-handed scissors for no reason other than to be difficult, to repeat an old man's mantra in your ugly ears while you pretend not to be asleep. The bench is in the church. The bench is in the church. Virgil Moon is willing to see my bed and raise us both, straighten our legs and get our minds out of the soap dish, but the line at his window is too long. Tell me something dreamy and hopeful, why Virgil Moon's hair is in such disarray, why his face has fallen so. If there is a reason to clean out the sink, I should be notified. Virgil Moon, with your thick face, grab me by my ankles and make a wish. Play my heart like a terrible hot fiddle, replace me with catgut and see what I'll look like come Monday morning. Virgil Moon, you are over the top and smell like canned beans. Virgil Moon with the top down, making his travel plans to the museum and to the beach. Virgil Moon takes back the ring. Spit me out sideways, somewhere near a track where dogs are supposed to race, and place your bets against me. I will disappoint. Oh, it's so nice I get to hear the bells. So pretty. I'll just read 2 more. This is called The Responsibility for Everything That Breaks, because that's what I like to take. The bargains we make in our heads, we say, are for sea changes, never anything capable of enduring our wishes. Plasticine rests against the willing tongue like the cost of handbags, prescient and showy, handled, loosened, and slack. They know the shape of your words, what you will need, and when your hands enter them. From what is left, I yearn for that, your taste of glue. You are seated among benches. Booths may be there, but no one needs them. No one asks the bodies what will become of these farms of them, how long it might all take to mend. Some days after we leave you for dead, another begins speaking again. They all talk to each other. They realize what will happen, that the words are what flutter their hands back around our suspiciously inclined necks. Incomplete, extrementious disaffection. I know many of these things are meant to be completed. The visualized calculation of each probability have met what it means to run off the path of a motorcade, presidential in nature, the mouth, accent like a hat pin, poised above thousands of punks sledding down staircases that can only end in treachery. When I hear truth's chance is nothing, I learn I am composed of barnacles and height. I move glue in shattered trains linked by the powerless, broken transmitters. I solder you apart, shattered guardian of toilet seats, and endless sealants for our wounds opened like clam mouths, traps that trap nothing. 2 pairs of spectacles, the lounging barrier. Don't blink, but these must be the 2 ugliest horses at Saratoga. And they breathe, and they remain themselves past all desire, hybrid in its blooming. Dreams remembered their offspring. How it was, stamps became so important. Happy this day of the dead horses, the myth whispered, the well-greased moral, what you want will learn to want you back. That the best skies promise little to voices that dream of being recalled. Hints fall like linens from handbags, ornaments from shelves, legs jammed through heat vents. How much happier we are with our clothes on. How delightfully we antique from one blossom shellacked to what we leave behind in pieces, please, no contest. You must learn to love what I do. You will want what I have fixed. No cure can exist without a miracle, and chords anymore count for so little. You should say this looking at me, surreptitious and quarantined. Please, please never come back here. I'll just read one more. I guess this is another career path that I didn't take, and it's about doctors, sort of. Back in days of yore, like when you went to medical school, you had to bring your own cadaver. And my cousin just finished medical school, and I think it would have been really good for him to have had to find his own corpses, I think. So this poem is called Night Doctors. A grave must be robbed within 10 days of burial, a simple but back-breaking process. Medical students in 18th century London had to supply their own cadavers. Discovery was the enemy. They were often beaten by the families of the deceased. You can recognize the words but not understand the sentence. The only other option, kneeling beside a grave, anabolic minds reminding them why and how we must learn to learn without bleeding, without cutting into what we've taken such pains to resurrect. Best to define this as love not ringing true, a broken finger, a horse's tail, the forgotten end of a hedgehog, always open, always proof of your crimes. Somewhere in Sussex, in his bedroom, a small boy is lifted by these thoughts. One day, people will scramble to fetch things for him, and he will never sit near a bright window again. He will think of darkness and the feel of his fingernails against the burlap death sack, how they catch against the rough edges, the one whose legs swung to the ground when he ran with her, and it seemed to him the earth beneath her naked feet gave of her, her bumping against him in quick time. Thank you again.